Welcome everybody. I'm very happy to see you here. In this new video, I'm launching a new series which is called the color grading series. I've been asked many times if I could produce some videos on color grading and how to do that for professional editorials and magazines. And yeah, so here we are. I want to say upfront, there is no one right way to color grade an image. It's about learning to see and how to evaluate colors, luminosity, and saturation, and how to apply these principles to an image. For example, if you want to match an image, and that is what we're going to cover in this video. If you have an inspirational image from a magazine or from another shot that you liked, you can certainly take that and look at it through the three categories that I just mentioned. So if you compare your image to the source image or the inspirational image, and you look for luminosity, color, and saturation, rather than looking at the image as a whole, you will have a much more simpler approach to get closer to what you want to achieve. And that being said, let's dive in. All right, now we're here, and you see two images on the right. That's the image we'll be working on. That's shot by my friend and photographer Ava Pivot from Berlin. Please check out the link and her portfolio. She's amazing, and say hi on Instagram. We've been collaborating on many projects, and she's always been so kind to allow me to use her images to show you guys how this is done in the professional editorial world. So thank you, Ava. On the left, this is the image that I chose, and I want to show you where you can find great inspiration if you don't know that website yet. It is called models.com, and feel free to create a free account that allows you to, one, create a profile. I have to say that you need to have at least, I think, 4 or 5 published works on models.com to be able to get an account. That is going, not an account, but a profile. But you can have a free account that allows you to then go to the news section, which is an amazing resource. So if you click it, you can see that there's magazine covers, for example, and you will find all the latest covers of the most iconic magazines. And the ones that are grayed out are not yet published. So they will be published over time, but you can go down and you can check out everything, and you will see a lot of inspiration. What in addition to covers is really nice is the editorial section. And here the same thing. So grayed out is not yet published. You can see September 24. By the time of this recording, it's August. And so, of course, it's not there yet. But if we scroll down, we can just check what captures our eye, what we like. And for this tutorial, I checked out this one. And I really like that image, the colors, and I think that is a good target to match the image of Ava to. So I downloaded it from here, I took it into Photoshop, and now it's here. And you can see that there is differences. And as I mentioned in the beginning, it is super important to not just look at the image as a whole. Of course, it has to match. And if you are more experienced, you will know what to do. But if you have got some struggles or you don't know what to do first, I would encourage you to divide it into the 3 categories: luminosity, color, and saturation. That being said, I do have a free set of layers that you can download. And I started a Photoshop library that I'm sharing with the creative family. And you can find the link in the description below, and also just right now on screen. And so what you can do is you go to Window and Libraries. If you do that, it will pop up. You can put it into your menu. And by the link, you can subscribe to, of course, free. You can subscribe to Creative Family and Wischermann Imaging. And you see that there is this JWI color grading. I help, and the way you put it into your Photoshop file is you hold down Control on your keyboard and you click, and then you say place layers. And what it does, it gives you the folder. And if you click it, you can see that there's a check luminosity layer, check color layer, and check saturation layers. Those three are the most important and hence marked orange. There is a boost saturation layer. We'll get to that a little later. And there is another layer that's called color wheel. You can guess what it is. You click it and there's a color wheel that will help you to evaluate color harmonies and to check what kind of colors would complement the colors that are dominant or present in your image. That being said, let's put the same group into the other image. Again, we open the library and we control click this and say place layers. And there is the same layers for us. All right, so what we want to do first is if we check the image by eye, we can say, well, they are pretty close to each other. This is a green background. There's a rather neutral colors. It has a slight green tint. And the whites are a bit taken down, so the color cast in the image is prominent, although the luminosity is pretty strong. All right, so that is something we need to match, and also we have to make sure that the green in this image is a bit more consistent and that there is not so much yellow up here, and also the doors you will see. If you don't see it, there's a slight touch of red, purple in this, and also the skin could be a bit less red. And we will deal with all this, and we will make sure to check that with our layers. All right, back at it. Let's go in. And the first thing that we want to do is match the whites and also check that we get the same level of luminosity values, at least by eye. All right. So the first thing that I want to do is set the check color layer on both images just to see what we're dealing with. As you can see now, this is the gray layer, 50% neutral gray set to luminosity. That will only reveal the color. For those of you that have trouble seeing this, first message, it will get better. You will get used to this, to identify colors by looking at this. If, however, you would like to see a little more, then there is this check saturation, the boost saturation layer, which is a hue saturation layer that you can now pump up the set. Of course, you have to activate it. Then you can pump up the saturation and you see that there's green, yellow, orange. And that is what we want to match in this one. And now if we boost the saturation here, activate the layer, pump up the saturation, and then you can see what I mentioned earlier, that there's more yellow here, and especially the purple is coming out here, and this is a bit too red, so we can dial that down and bring it closer to each other. It doesn't have to be the same values. We don't have to get into the numbers here. This is just, in professional color grading, there's different targets. Of course, you can go for the exact color, but in an editorial, we want to bring these colors together so that they become a family and that the images go well together and are easily to identify as a group of images. Okay, so we identified the areas and we can see that we have to adjust this slightly. And now we can take that down again, and we know the areas that we want to work with. So the first thing that I want to do is create a curve layer. I love working with curves in color grading because you can adjust the dark tones, the light tones, and the mid tones, and also the dark and the light quarter tones, which will make it easier to control the overall effect of the color and the luminosity changes to the image. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to bring down the light here just to match it better with this one here. So this is too white, too bright, and also the consistency of the color is not given at this point. So what we want to do is we want to take red and blue down. What happens if we take red down? You can see that it gets slightly more tinted with cyan. And if we take blue down, we will warm up the lights. Okay, something like this. If we turn this on and off, we can see that this color here, this area, is getting closer to this one. What we want to do in addition to that is to go to the RGB curve, check the graph, and I want to pin the point right there and grab this one and drag it down a bit, just a bit. So this way we can bring this color even closer to this visually, of course, right? So we don't have to go into the numbers. I don't want to do that now because it's not necessary. We want to bring them into one family. All right, that's done. We can call that match whites, just for reference. And I don't want to apply this to the whole image. Therefore, I will fill this mask with black. And I will take a brush, a fairly big one, and with a soft brush tip, and I will just paint it in. Roughly around the subject, also making sure that I hit all the bright areas, like this. I won't affect the model here. Maybe if I hit it, I will just take it out very roughly so we can check the mask. That should be all right. We don't have to be super precise with this. It just has to match the color. All right. So whenever I do an adjustment like that, I check if 100% opacity might be a bit too much. So we can take that down and bring it back in increments, and then we can see if maybe 75% is enough. And I would say, yeah, that something like that, 77, 80, 9, something like that is pretty much all right. And what stands out to me now is that the doors still have a different color. And I want to match the doors with a separate curve. Let's see what we can do. Oh, wait. I'm going to show you one thing. Let's delete that curve again and activate the background layer. And let's just pick the quick selection tool and select the door like this. And then we want to create our new curve. So it has the mask already applied to it. All right, so what we want to do now is work with the channels again. So with the red channel, with the green channel, blue channel. In this case, I want to match that color closer to this one. So I want to bring in some green, and therefore I go to the green channel, pull up the green, and I want to bring in some yellow. Therefore, I want to take down the blue channel a bit. Something like this. If we activate this on and off, we're getting closer. And again, I want to go to the RGB channel and I want to bring down the highlight and maybe bring up the midtones again. So this way we're balancing out the shift, the color shift in this, and bring it closer to that. So this alone, matching doors and matching the whites. If we toggle this on and off, this is much more uniform and already getting in the direction that we are aiming for. And what we want to do next is work with a selective color adjustment layer. Selective color is a powerful tool that I want to encourage you to try. What we want to do is work with individual colors. So the first one, as I said, was the skin tone, the reds. I would like to bring in more cyan into the reds, see what happens. Let me zoom in a bit. We take down the strong red, and we will also take out some magenta here. This way, the skin color gets muted in to the background and matches a little better. In terms of saturation and color that is prominent in the image. I want to get closer to this level of saturation here. Okay. The next that we want to adjust is in the yellows. And here, let me go full frame again. I want to play with it and see where we land. So if we move the yellow slider, you can see if we take if we take cyan out in the yellow, we will boost the yellow. If we bring some cyan in, we will make it more green. And in this case, we want to go to the more green side, maybe around 10%. And also with magenta, we want to play with that and see where we land. If we bring in a bit of magenta here, I think that would suit the image well. And with the yellow, let's see what happens if we take this down. So actually, by bringing this slider to the left, I think we're matching the left inspiration image much better. So let's go with 30-ish, something like that. If we toggle this layer on and off, you can see that we're getting more into that ballpark of that image. And so the last one is the greens. And here, let's play with this slider as well. If we take down the cyans a bit, this is, see, it's a subtle change, but it makes all the difference in the end, and I want to balance it out. If we take the yellow out here, yeah, I think that's better. We can go high as 40 something, maybe like this. Yeah, I think that's a subtle color adjustment that gets it into the right direction. And now let's play with the hue saturation layer that we can bring in like so. And here we can do two things. We can either grab the color that we want to adjust, or we grab this little picker here and click here. So it jumps into the yellows, it jumps into the greens. And actually, I think I want to adjust the greens slightly, meaning I want to shift the hue. What happens if I do that? You can see it here. I want to shift it to the left side to make it a little warmer, like this. And I want to bring down the saturation a slight touch so that it's going away from the green. And if we check our color help layer, you can see what it does. So here you can see that has been much greener than here. And let's double check with this one. So the selective color adjustment has muted it and brought it into the ballpark of this. And the hue saturation has taken down the effect here in that balcony. Let's toggle this back again. And now if we check the complete before and after of this, you can see that the colors are much more going along with each other. So what is the next thing that we can do? I believe that this image has more contrast and is a bit brighter. We can double check that with the luminosity layer. Therefore, we activate that again and have only this layer activated. Let's put the same on here. And we can see that the white is brighter. Of course, we took down the luminosity, but we also changed the color to it, and that was a necessary step. So what we can do now is bring in a curve layer, and we can grab this range picker, and we could go here and lighten this up a bit. Again, we don't have to match it 100%, just getting closer to that is my goal. So I want to bring in some contrast. Like so. I guess that's doing well. Let's check it without the help layer. Yeah, something like this. Call that contrast. Plus, here we did the selective adjustment and the color adjustment of the balcony. Okay, and one last thing that we could try is throw in a vignette. And to do that, we will create a selection, a round selection. So the elliptical marquee tool, and draw in a selection like this maybe. Hit Q for quick mask, and then we're going to filter that with a Gaussian blur. You can find that in the filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And we want to make it big. So yeah, something along those lines. In this case, 500-ish, so that you can see that it's going to be fading out pretty nicely. Hit Q again to leave the option of quick mask, activate another curve layer. And now you can see that the selection needs to be inverted. We can do that with Command I. And now the selection looks like that. Now I want to call that vignette. Oops. Like this. And then we can darken that area. Okay, so let's check the before and after. That is good. We will put these together into our grading. And now you can see that we are getting into the ballpark of that image to the left. Okay, one last thing. Now that we have created the color grading and that we finished this adjustments, that would be a typical stage where I would reach out to Ava in this case and say, hey, look, this is the color grading we made, and are you happy with this? And then it would be time to start the retouching of this image, because there are some things that can be discussed to give a little bit more, let's say, peace and quietness to the viewer's eye. Some things are a bit distracting, and some things are not really adding to the image. That would be something. Let's make some markups so that you know what I'm talking about. For this, I always make a notes layer. I love to label it with a color just to know that I have to take it out in the end. Take a color that is definitely catching my attention when circling back to my team or the client. And therefore, I would love to just mark what I see can be taken out. For example, like something like this here, like this dirt. One could even argue that these doors are distracting, or like certain elements, like this one there, or maybe the door, or this. But that would be up to discussion with the photographer, or to discuss with the whole team that is involved into that project. There are many options to deal with this. And what we can do now is deactivate the grading for a second and assume that we would be aligned with the photographer or the team to work on those details. So what we can do now is create another folder for retouching. And for example, these adjustments here, and let's go just for that image with full screen. How we could address that is, for example, with the new AI tools that are provided in Photoshop, which are really, really good for those cases. So I would choose the, it's here, the magic brush. We need a new layer, call it retouching as well. And what you can do now is just circle around that and let go of this, and it will remove the area, just like this. Also this one, this one, this one, and maybe that color one here. Let's go up here, take that out, this one there, and let's also take away that dirt. See how fast that went? That's the power of this amazing brush, and love working with this. So that's one. Maybe we even take out that bright light there. Don't really need that. And the other tool that we can use is if you make a selection around the thing that you want to remove, you can use the generative fill one. You know, there were times when we had to manually do this, and that is a great case for making use of it because it's blurred, it's in the background, it's not really adding to the image. Nobody really knows what that is, and it is a bit distracting. So let's try to take it out. And it's thinking about it, offering us 3 alternatives. And let's check those out. They are here in the properties window. That was the first one. That's the second one and the third one. So I believe maybe that one is a good base to start, and we can add a new layer and use the same tool again, like the magic brush here, and go over that area. And maybe also this, and like smudge it a bit like that. I was marking that point here because it's a bit distracting coming out of that jacket, and maybe we can take it away. If it takes something away from the jacket, we can throw a mask on top, take the black color, and just paint it back. Just like so, and that's that. And let's see what we did with the retouching. I think this is a lot calmer now and does help to bring the focus of the viewer more to the subject. If we activate the grading again, you can see the effect, because you know we tap the grading on top and we only work with layer masks, and where there's the doors. This is the only very precise layer mask. So if I would take out the door, which I think is not necessary, then I would have to change that mask. Otherwise, I can leave it as is. And that's the beauty of working in a non-destructive workflow. So having all the pixel adjustments below the color and the editing of the individual colors allows us to keep that flexible and to first align on the color and then go back to the file later and address the retouching after we aligned with the photographer. The last thing that I want to do is to put in a nice film grain. And if you followed my channel for some time, or if you have seen other videos, you know that I love working with the film grain adjustment layers that I created. If you haven't seen them yet, make sure to check those out. You can find those on my channel. and you will see how easy it is to create those and what kind of benefits you have. So we create a pattern, we choose the one setting that we like. In this case, is the silver rich grain that I created from Capture One. I want to increase the size of it, and we'll call it film grain silver rich. And I will put the layer mode to soft light. And if we go to 100%, you can see that it brings in a nice tone and underlines that look that we have created. So that's that. Whenever I finish a file, in the end, I make sure that I put the things that I don't need anymore into a folder that I call myself stuff. I will mark it red. So I have it for reference, but I will disable it, and now the file is good to be saved. All right. That's that. And let's bring these once again close to each other to have a final evaluation. And if we toggle the before and after, I think this is a way to create a color grade that matches source image from an image that you have from your client or from yourself. All right, now that we finished this first video of the color grading series, I'm curious, did this approach help you? Did you find any value in this? And do you think working in a way to addressing color, luminosity, and saturation is beneficial to you as well? Please drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Let the others know what you think. And if you have got any suggestions, ideas, or even wishes for future color grading videos, let me know. Please feel free to drop also your ideas on that into the comments so that it helps to spread the word about this video. It helps the algorithm to reach more people, and that would be much appreciated. So give it a like, give it your comment. I love to hear your feedback, and I see you in the next video of the color grading series. Until then, happy retouching and have a great day.